IQ. He understands the sport. He looks at it in a mental sense. He knows what he needs to do.
To fight. Crawford gonna have to stay consistent and win out. Gonna have to get ahead and stay ahead. You know what I mean? And then also looming is the controversy. Can Crawford win a close decision? I could never win a close decision.
Crawford has the same, but I just feel like Crawford's ring-eye coordination is better, and he has more fire in the body left. He wants it more, in my opinion.
Lennox Lewis paints the picture of why Terence Crawford can take down Canelo, pointing out that this battle lives more in the mind than in the muscles. He lays out how Crawford's sharp boxing IQ, fluid movement, and gift for adapting tilt the scales in his favor. For Lewis, size isn't the key factor here, because Terence's tactical brain and ring intelligence give him the power to shut opponents down with ease. And that's why he sees Crawford as the one who can outthink and outfight Canelo.
He's got incredible talent, incredible IQ. He understands the sport. He looks at it in a mental sense. He knows what he needs to do to stay at the top and be at the top. He moves very well. He's a very elusive mover, and his work rate is high.
I won't ask you who's going to win the fight, because I know it's a question you've probably been asked a million times, but I will ask you, do you think this fight goes the distance, or do you think this fight ends inside the distance?
Interesting. Really an interesting fight to look.
Coach Bernie's take really cuts to the heart of why Terence Crawford is such a rare and dangerous challenge. To him, Crawford isn't just a clean puncher. He's a fighter whose precision and timing make every shot feel like punishment that most opponents simply can't survive. Bernie points out that even with Canelo Alvarez's legendary resume, he hasn't dealt with someone who blends hand speed, accuracy, and raw power the way Crawford does. So when Bernie says Crawford's fists are like bricks, it shows the strength he brings even while moving up in weight.
I mean, a fight is always highly anticipated, and one this magnitude, you know what I'm saying? I think Canelo is hyped too, because, you know, they know that Bud brings a different element, and the guys that he's been fighting is now superstars. Bud is a superstar. It's a mega fight. It's an underdog fight, you know, and like I said, you know, I'm sure they anticipate, you know, he has trouble with movers and slick boxers and stuff like that, so they're trying to see how he deals with that, you know. Bud fans is, you know, understandable. You know, Canelo got the power, he got the experience, and, you know, he's one of the faces of boxing. And so, you know, it just breeds anticipation, you know, want to see somebody do something great. And I think that's what everybody mostly counting on. It's a lot of hate, though. A lot of people want to see us lose, and the real ones want to see us win. You know what I mean? But, you know, all in all, you know.
This has built up massive anticipation among fans. The boxing world is alive with energy because everyone wants to see how Canelo, who's made his name on power and deadly counters, will respond to someone like Crawford, a fighter elusive, unpredictable, and technically brilliant. Crawford's movement, agility, and sharp tactics make him a riddle. And unlike so many of Canelo's past opponents, he won't be standing still or waiting for a counter. This clash is just as much about styles as it is about pride. For the first time in years, fans believe Canelo is facing a rival who pushes him on every level.
Well, Bud Crawford just hits hard anyway. He got fucking bricks for hands. You know what I mean? He got baseball mitts. His hands is as big as a baseball mitt. So, you know, then he's a sharp puncher. So you got to understand that Canelo hasn't fought a sharp puncher. You know, them guys wasn't sharp punchers. Magia, Berlanga, the guys, they not sharp punchers. You know what I'm saying? So when you got a sharp, it's a difference with the speed and the velocity that they're coming with. You know what I mean? If you can understand that. The quickness of the punches, the sharpness of the punches. These guys, you can see all their punches coming. You ain't going to be able to see all Bud punches coming. You ain't going to be able to see his punches coming, for real.
They have what, like one common opponent, Amir Khan?
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you think the difference is? Obviously, you've seen a highlight reel with, you know, with Canelo.
Amir Khan, who's shared the ring with both men at different points, brings a rare perspective. He respects Canelo's brilliance and what he's accomplished, but Khan believes Crawford simply hungers for this fight more. In his eyes, Crawford's drive is unmatched, And that edge and desire could be the deciding factor. Khan points out that Crawford still has plenty left to give: energy, sharpness, and hunger that go beyond what Canelo can summon at this stage. Canelo has climbed incredible heights, but years at the top have left their mark. To Khan, Crawford feels fresher, more motivated, and completely locked in. That mental and physical edge, he argues, could tilt the fight Crawford's way. For Khan, this isn't just about skills. It's about who's willing to sacrifice everything. And right now, he sees that man as Crawford.
Timing, great feints, moves well, whereas Crawford has the same, but I just feel like Crawford's ring eye coordination is better, and he has more fire in the body left. He wants it more, in my opinion. Whereas Canelo, in that last fight against the Cuban guy he fought, he just seems to me that that fire has just gone. Like, he was just getting the win and moving around and enjoying himself, which he can do, because at the end of the day, the guy, he's already cemented his legacy, so he can do that. So yeah, I got Crawford winning that fight.
And when you sparred him, when you were in the same camp with Bomac, what was it like? You have any good stories about sparring him since you were an opponent?
See, when I fought him as a fight, I didn't know what to expect. But then obviously, when I sparred with him, I would try different things to really how would I be able to beat a guy like him? And I was working on different things, and the guy is very tricky. He's a guy that always keeps on adapting your style and also keep getting better and better as the fight goes on. So yeah, he's a very, very good fighter. I do like him because he came to my camp 2-3 times, drove up to spend like 2-3 weeks with me to just give me some advice and be there with me and win with me and train with me. And so yeah, that's why like them little things go a long way for me, and that's why I'll always support him and push him.
Trainer Stephen Breadman Edwards steps in with a reality check. He explains that Canelo's choice to spar Jaron Ennis, one of the most skilled and dangerous young fighters, is smart, but at the end of the day, symbolic. Sparring, Edwards reminds us, is never the same as a real fight. Fighters spar to test strategies, get a feel for certain styles, or sometimes to send a message to whoever's watching. For Canelo, sparring Ennis might be less about preparation and more about showing the world he's ready for Crawford's style. But Breadman makes it clear. Sparring can teach you things, sure, but it cannot capture the atmosphere, the fire, or the chaos of a true championship night. Under the lights, with millions tuned in, the stakes are far higher. Crawford's skill cannot be reduced to a sparring session. Edwards insists Canelo's move should be seen for what it is, a mental exercise and a play on perception, not proof that he can beat Crawford.
And don't do nothing in camp and then go look like $1 million in the fight. That's why fighters spend the kind of money they spend on sparring partners, because getting the look or simulating the intensity of how a fight is going to be is how you prepare for a fight. And the most important part of camp is sparring. So it didn't make me say that Canelo was going to win the fight, but it did make me say, damn, he's taking this fight serious, and that's a real good look. I respect the fact that he went out and got the best possible sparring he could find for Crawford to win this fight. I even respect when he did it, because if he would have got Boots early in camp, Boots would have probably beat his butt. You know what I mean? When you first come to camp and you're not sharp. So he got him a few weeks in the camp where maybe, what's how many weeks left for the fight? About 3 weeks left for the fight. This usually your peak time. So he got him about 3 weeks left in the camp so he can handle the work. Because again, you've been up to Philly and you've seen the work. Boots don't have bad days in the gym. He stays in the gym all the time. Yeah. So like, you could just get him off the streets and he'll go 10 or 12 rounds in the gym. He don't have bad days. I'm like, and I'm not just bragging. I'm not bragging about a kid that I don't train or he's not my son. I'm just telling the truth. Like, I haven't seen him have like an off day in the gym in like 10 years. You know how sometimes a guy don't look good and you be like, oh, okay, he not doing his best. He really don't have them days. You know what I mean?
And the crazy part about it is he does more than 3-minute rounds and he never sits down. The
symbolism of sparring Jaron Ennis cannot be overstated. Canelo's choice was a calculated attempt to mirror what he expects from Crawford inside the ring. Ennis, much like Crawford, is quick, versatile, and dangerous from either stance. By stepping in with Ennis, Canelo was likely searching for a taste of the rhythm and unpredictability Crawford delivers. Yet, as most analysts point out, no sparring partner can ever capture the real thing. Crawford's timing, his instinct to adjust mid-fight, and his one-of-a-kind rhythm are traits only he brings. While Canelo may gain flashes of resemblance, the value here is more about building belief and proving to fans he's preparing with intent than it is about discovering the actual blueprint to win.
Moves, as Canelo's maybe not had as much experience with that since moving to 168. Usually he's the smaller guy fighting some of the bigger guys. But that's not all this is. This is a message that Canelo is looking to replicate exactly what Terence Crawford has in his arsenal, has in his tool set, because everybody has wanted to see the Boots Ennis versus Terence Crawford fight because it's a stylistic matchup that is very interesting. Both guys fight out of both stances. That's right. Boots will fight out of southpaw and orthodox. Both guys are very good using their defense to create offense. Boots, one of the best at Philly shelling, catch countering, being able to do it out of both stances, has a beautiful check hook out of southpaw. As orthodox fighters throw their left hook, he comes over the top with his. And why would Canelo be looking for someone that could throw a beautiful lead hook and a backhand as a counter punch, rolling with their defense back to their offense? Oh wait, because that's what Terence Bud Crawford does so well. Boots is explosive. He's got great counterpunch timing. He's got good awareness. His feet are good. He can walk you onto punches. He can lead the dance going first, not just looking for his counterpunches, but underrated, I think, in his aggression to lead the exchanges. This is a perfect get for Canelo. And I'm not even trying to play the one side or the other. Canelo fans, Crawford fans, you're going to think whatever you want to think. But the reality is, getting this kind of sparring is a massive deal for Canelo. It's going to give him probably the best look you could get for Terence Bud Crawford outside of sparring Terence Bud Crawford. I can't understate how important even just a couple of days working with Jaron Boots Ennis is going to be for Canelo, just to see a bit of the tempo, a bit of that switching of stance, because let's be honest, there's not many guys that Canelo has fought that have fought out of both stances and done it as fluidly as Boots Ennis or as Bud Crawford will do in there.
Another concern surrounding Canelo Alvarez is the clear decline in his speed and movement. Observers point out that now in his 30s, Canelo looks slower on his feet, and this could be a real weakness against someone as quick and agile as Crawford. Canelo's weapons have always been his timing, counter shots, and the way he cuts off the ring. But as the years pile up, questions about his stamina and mobility grow louder. If his legs can't match Crawford's fluid rhythm and constant shifts, he might spend the fight chasing shadows. That creates a serious tactical issue. Canelo can't lean only on his power if he can't close distance the right way. Both fans and analysts are watching closely, wondering if Crawford's youth and sharp movement will finally expose a hole in Canelo's armor.
Oh, he's holding back, you can tell. People are saying his legs, they look slower than usual, and Canelo has always been someone who's always had very slow feet. Even when he was down at 154 pounds. Something that plagued him throughout the course of his career is he's just had very slow feet, you know, like cement sometimes on them. That's one of the weaknesses of Canelo, and obviously now he's, how old is Canelo? 35 years old, 34, 35. They're going to be, like, they were slow in your mid-20s. They're definitely going to be slow now in your mid-30s. Before we follow up on that, just have a look there really, really quickly on screen. Please, if y'all could, hit the like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It literally takes like 2 seconds. We're only a couple of subs off 26,300. Want to get 30k? Please, if you could help me out, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, Canelo's always had slow feet. But I think this is the bigger, I think a lot of people are more worried about this now because he's going to be in there. Essentially, he's going to be in there against someone who is really, I mean, it's obviously Crawford's last fight was at 154 pounds, but like, he's really a welterweight. You know, he did look a little bit undersized at 154. He's going to look completely undersized at 168. But the size difference, the size, you know, thing out of the equation, the speed difference is going to be vast because Crawford's always had good feet. He's always had fast feet. And if you think Canelo's feet look slow against someone like William Skull, a big, bulky 168 pounder who at the end of the day was just running around the ring, he's going to look even slower against Crawford. And a lot of people are saying, just based upon that training footage, oh, it's now a 50-50 fight. You know, I'm running with Terence Crawford, or that's who I'm going to go with.
Analysts warn that while Crawford's skills are undeniable, this fight pushes him into uncharted waters. Moving up in weight to face a naturally bigger man like Canelo is no small leap. Canelo has thrived in heavier divisions, beating champions who carry proven size, strength, and toughness. That experience at higher weights gives him a confidence and durability Crawford has yet to truly show at this level. Crawford's edge in speed and tactics will now be measured against Canelo's raw power and sheer physical presence.
This is what scares me going into this Terence Crawford fight. These are the guys Canelo's typically fighting. This is his last opponent, William Scull. William Scull is far from a great opponent. When we're talking about sheer size and strength, Canelo is just way more built and used to taking on larger guys and overpowering them. Look at William Scull. This guy is jacked. He's huge, man. And that makes me think, like, if Canelo has been taking punches from guys like this, I'm not saying William Scull in particular, but guys like William Scull, the size of William Scull, and he's been dropping them, stopping them, beating them around the ring, overpowering, over-muscling, just everything, physically demanding over them. That makes me think, man, Terence Crawford, I don't know what, you gonna have to come with some heat, dog. Look at Canelo. This guy is half the size of William Scull. There's nothing cut about him. There's nothing popping out, bulging. There's nothing. Look at this. This is insanity. That's what I'm really like, dude. I don't know. Canelo could go in there and walk through Terence Crawford like a hot knife through butter. That is definitely on the table here. He gonna have to be really crafty, really savvy, and have to put on some amazing work from the outside. If he tries to sit there and walk through Canelo, he gonna hit a brick wall, dog. If guys built like this ain't walking through Canelo, even when Canelo looks like this, Terence Crawford ain't doing it, man. I gotta be honest.
No matter who walks away the winner, this fight has already secured its place in boxing history. The anticipation grows even bigger with Netflix streaming it, opening the spectacle to an enormous global audience. Millions will tune in to witness two of the greatest fighters of their generation risk everything under the lights. This is more than just a sporting event. It is a cultural milestone. Moments like these are rare, where legacies, styles, and ambitions collide so perfectly in the same ring.
This is huge news for boxing, UFC, and Netflix. Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez will officially be on September the 13th on Netflix. Now, the reason why this is so interesting is, of course, the UFC, TKO, recently acquired their new strange boxing model with Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White promoting it. And this actually will be on Netflix. So for some context, if you don't know, the UFC are currently under negotiations with a new TV deal. And the rumours for a very long time were that of Netflix. But it doesn't look like they're going down that route anymore. Or at least it sounded like Netflix wanted a total package where they would get the major UFC fights and the major boxing fights as well. Or potentially they didn't even want the UFC fights and they just wanted a couple of these sort of events. Regardless, Dana White is officially the promoter for it, which I do believe is still bizarre. I still really think that's super bizarre. And the fact that they have quite opposing views in Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White, to be honest. Not in everything, but in how events are run. Dana White doesn't even like stadiums, first and foremost. Turki Al-Sheikh loves making as big of a splash as he possibly can. As fights go, for the casuals, this one is as good as it gets. It really is. Let me know what you think. As always, keep it casual.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned until next time.
That's it for today's journey inside the ring. Stay tuned because the next chapter is coming and you won't want to miss a single moment.